Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the Movie Bros podcast. If you are new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. We are your hosts, Duncan and Hayden. I am Duncan. He is Hayden. Hello, hello.
Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're here.
And if you are new, this is a roughly weekly podcast of two brothers who pick a movie, watch that movie, discuss, ramble, banter about that movie. We cover everything from sci-fi, fantasy, historical fiction, romance, drama, thriller, horror. We cover everything. And if you have recommendations on things we should be watching and talking about, obviously let us know. We are on Instagram at @themovie_bros. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and if I did it correctly, Apple and Amazon podcasts as well. That's what this is. That's who we are. Let's just kind of get into it, I think.
Alrighty, this episode we are talking about the Amazon Studios production, The Vast of Night. I'll just jump right through some fast film facts, and then we can get into generalized discussion. So this was, again, a Amazon Studios movie called The Vast of Night, released in the year 2019. This is written and directed by Andrew Patterson. I didn't think to look up what else he had done, but I think this is probably his first big project. Music here is by Eric Alexander and Jared Bulmer. Two names I also didn't recognize, and I think that's going to be kind of a trend we go through here with lots of the names here, because this, in a lot of great ways, feels like someone's first project. Cinematography here is by Miguel Linton-Menz. Stars Sierra McCormick, Jake Horowitz, and Gail Cronauer. There are other people in the cast, but those are your main talking parts. Those are your main speaking parts. Everyone else is just kind of generalized townfolk. That's kind of all the information I have here. This is a small, tight production, but I think we'll have some discussion here in a bit. Duncan, where would you like to start, if you want to start at all?
I would say that the director, Andrew Patterson, his next movie is called The Rivals of Amzia King, and it stars...
Wait,
Matthew McConaughey.
Say that title again?
The Rivals of Amzia King. AMZIAH space King. Stars Matthew McConaughey, Kurt Russell, and Cole Sprouse.
I'll be there.
So it's not like he's not working. And
well,
I
don't know. If it's anything like this, I hope it goes to theaters. I'll pay to watch it. Not to jump ahead to my thoughts on this already, but I hope it's as good.
As good as in great, or as good as in good?
Well, why don't we get into that? Do we want to do just thoughts, or do we want to start with ratings?
Let's go ratings.
I guess I let off here a little bit, but this is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I very much enjoyed this. This was so right up my street. There is only tiny little nitpicks I have on this. I really loved it.
I'm glad you liked it.
It was not what I thought it was going to be, but
what do you mean?
Well, when I heard, this is like Spielberg influences, and it's yes. about UFOs. Like I thought there was going to be more like UFO stuff and there is, but I was surprised how it was shot essentially in real time, full of dialogue. And then at the very end, you get the kicker of the UFOs actually being UFOs. But I absolutely loved all the rest of it.
I liked it. I mean, all the things you're saying I agree with. I just don't know if I liked it as much. Like, I'd probably call it like a 3.5, maybe 4. But it definitely, like, some of the... we'll talk about it, but cinematography was interesting. But in a lot of ways, it did feel like a first movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not inherently a bad thing. It just felt like...
No, but you can definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Well, I have my document of things set up, although it is not actually that long, but it is mostly just me pointing out things that I liked. Where would you like to start?
No, have at it. Start at the top.
I don't tend to watch a whole lot of things through Amazon just because I think as a platform, I think Netflix and HBO are just so much easier to find things on. But I will say the Amazon Studios logo is very cool. It's kind of got like a town being built out of paper, and then the movie theater springs out of the ground. It's very creative looking. I guess that doesn't really have anything to do with the movie, but
I was
it's
like,
just
you started at the very beginning. Okay.
well, I a lot of what I have written down is kind of chronological. And then a big reason why I like this so much is that it is essentially a 90-minute episode of The Twilight Zone. And
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love The Twilight Zone. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, either on air or off. I
Yeah.
really, really love The Twilight Zone. It's such a great show that did so much with so little production value that they really had to rely on clever and interesting writing and ideas. And that's what I really loved about this, is that so much of the appeal of this movie is the dialogue, is the camera work, is how they are going out of their way to really, I guess in some ways, tell and not show. And usually that's the other way around. But I think it really, really works here. And it so reminded me of a Twilight Zone thing, especially because the opening, like, zoom in shot is of a 50s era TV talking about
Mm-hmm.
something called Paradox Theater, which is definitely just off brand Twilight Zone. And yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it almost opens it up to more like an episodic potential where they could make more of these, for
Oh,
lack of a better word,
100%.
episodes within this universe. Yeah.
Literally, after I finished watching this yesterday, I was like, well, crap, is there more? I would love to watch more of this. And I was so disappointed to learn this is the only Paradox Theater episode that exists. Like, I would love it if Amazon would make more of these.
Yeah, I think they've moved beyond that after it's been 6 years.
It's been 6 years. They've probably gone on to more Reacher flavored things. However,
Mm-hmm.
I personally would want them to. I just, that is so my thing.
Sure. I mean, a lot of it was, for me, the main pros were either the writing or the cinematography. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, so many spots where it was either basically a one shot all the way through, or there's a crazy bit towards the end, but not at the end, of like a drone shot, basically.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
the whole opening scene where it's them, where it's Everett
Like
and the
uh,
gal walking through
Faye.
all like the Faye, thank you, walking through the like all the parked cars. Both
Oh yeah, with like the
the
walk and talk where
conversation.
they go through the basketball game,
Yes,
out through
yes,
the basketball game, out through the
yes.
parked car. Like, I am a sucker for a long take camera shot, and this is essentially with some very clever editing,
Sure.
a one take movie. Like, there are definitely scene cuts,
Oh
but
yes, there definitely are.
they are thrown in so infrequently and edited in such a way to where it really feels like you are watching this in real time happening. It's really clever.
I will say, folks, if you're listening or anyone, whatever, uh, you need to see this on if a big screen, sure, but you really need to see this in a very dark room.
That's why I knocked it down a little bit there, because there are some
It's
points where
really
I'm
dark,
like one,
and some of that's on purpose.
it is shot. It didn't look like with studio lights. It was shot with like realistic. Okay, what are the lights this building would actually have at night? Like, and I can appreciate
Hmm.
that, but also that means you can't see some of the stuff,
Yeah,
and the
I mean,
color grading is like super hard, so that everything looks kind of darker than normal. Like, it looks cool, but it, like, I almost wanted to go into my settings on my TV and like, okay, can I turn my gamma up or something? Like,
well, even I liked where it basically when
oh,
I
when
think it
they're
was
on the phone.
Billy. Yeah, cut. They just cut to black, and it's just him telling the story because then you have to focus on his voice.
Oh yeah, that, and to what you were saying about watch this in a dark room or watch this in a theater. Um,
That'd be
Watch
pretty
this either.
spooky.
Well, I mean, yes, but I would say either watch this with nice, like surround speakers, or watch this with headphones, because so much of this movie is the dialogue, is the sound design. You
Hmm.
need to be able to hear everything.
The one thing that really took me out of the movie, and I think why I just graded it much lower, was the whole old lady bit. I just, I don't know.
That
It
that
felt
did
like,
seem weird.
well, it felt like it. the movie was slowly gaining momentum and then it just lost all of it. I mean, they got it back and then, things are happening, but that whole bit with them just sitting there talking to her, I don't know. It felt either they should have placed it earlier in the movie or just left it out. It just didn't, I don't know. It did not work for me.
I think so. I mean, the reason I knocked it down like a half star is both the lighting's a little dim, but and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like it takes a little bit to actually get to the aliens. Like the part where they're
Sure.
the part where Everett and Faye are walking and talking about her, little
Tape recorder.
tape recorder thing is cool, but like I checked it on the runtime. We are a full 20 minutes into the movie, and it's only 90 minutes, so nearly a third of the movie before we actually get into aliens. And I feel like that could have been tightened up a little bit. And in the same way, I think that Talk with the Old Lady could have been tightened up a little bit, because then you could have more of an opportunity to just add more in. Like that's kind of my main criticism here, is that it is cool that it kind of happens in real time and you're watching 90 minutes of this evening. Freaking give me 2 hours of this. I would love just more of this small town.
Sure. And something that I don't know, maybe it was on purpose, maybe it wasn't, but throughout the first, let's call it half of the movie, the cinematography and the camera work is very smooth, very clean. And then the back half, maybe the last like 20 minutes, feels like they kind of either ran out of budget or like stopped caring as much because it's way shakier. Uh, Angles are not straight. Like I don't know if that's trying to
I
convey like stress and anxiety
see
when they're like, I don't
that's
know.
kind of what I thought, because after the halfway point, we're fully into the alien plot. We're in the speeding car when they start playing that weird like recording, and mind controls the driver. So you want to convey a not smooth atmosphere. You want it to feel a little bit more
Yes,
stressful. So I get what you're saying, but I think it's on purpose, I guess.
I did think that at the very end the ships gave Close Encounters of the Third kind of vibes. Was my
I
thought on
I
it.
I liked that, but I didn't like. I don't know. Again, that's the other small reason why I'm like, well, this slightly missed the mark for me. Is that to preserve that tension in the last couple minutes? I don't know if we should just stop and have peaceful music as we show it. Like, it should come in. We should barely see a snippet of it, and then they get abducted. Spoiler or whatever. But like,
Sure.
I don't know. I think it kind of kills the tension a little bit if we're supposed to gaze at the beauty and the wonder of the UFOs when they're supposed to be shown as like a threat.
Did you recognize the? So it's not identical, but the music, it's throughout the movie, but it's like it's played in its full
Oh,
volume
the
at the very
the
end.
jittering violins.
That could have been from
Absolutely,
Master and Commander,
that's what
but
I was thinking too.
I mean, just a hair different.
I mean, it's certainly the same like playing style, but it is not exactly the same piece of music. I think it's actually the exact same like notes though.
Yes, I liked the Everett Emmett bit towards the beginning. I mean, again, what I liked was either the cinematography or the writing. So,
Hmm.
like where they're talking about electric cars, that was nice. So that was fun.
Yeah,
I
that
like
was.
that.
I like the line about, by the year 2000 we'll all be traveling in tubes, and I'm like, oh Faye, oh, I have bad news.
Yeah, we've the older, not older. I mean, mostly older generations kind of fucked up our world. Yeah,
I mean, we're not doing a great job either in some ways. So
no comment. No comment. All right.
yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of the music though, how do you think about the rest of it? Like throughout the
I mean,
whole movie, do you think?
the music. I'm glad that there wasn't a lot because again, it was focused on because there's so much dialogue, and not that it feels like you're listening to someone read a book, but it is like heavy dialogue, and I'm glad that there wasn't so much music that would distract from that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I'm glad that like it only shows up when they're running into the road, when they're in the car, when during the very cool drone sequence. Like I'm glad that the dialogue scenes have almost no music whatsoever.
I beyond that, so at first I thought the lead actor Everett,
Everett.
uh, was the would eventually go on to be in Saturday Night
Hmm.
because he looks like the guy who plays Chevy Chase a little bit, but it's not him. Um, I don't have a ton to say. I mean, again, it's good. I enjoy it. I like the '50s vibes. All the radio stuff is fun. And I don't even remember how, because this was my recommendation for us to watch this, but I don't even remember how I just like, because this is a very much a indie, not indie, but like
Oh,
this is
it
not a
definitely
big
is.
name. I don't remember how I even found out about this, but yeah, I'm
Um,
glad I've seen it.
I, I'm very glad I watched this too. But I remember this sitting in my Amazon like watch list probably for these whole 6 years because I remember
Hmm.
I probably saw the little trailer they had and I read the description like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll watch this later. Just forgot about it, and yeah, I'm glad I finally watched it. Really, really liked it. Again, please make more of this like show episode thing. I clearly it's good. So if I think we're both probably going to recommend it, maybe me more emphatically than you. But if you had to suggest other things that were like this, what would you tell people to watch?
I mean, the obvious one is Twilight Zone, but beyond that, I don't know. I mean,
I think if you want like the bigger budget version of this, it's Super 8.
yeah, I actually got those vibes a little bit too, because it wasn't so there wasn't as many lens flares as something from J.J. Abrams,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I definitely get similar vibes. I agree with that.
Or I mean, in a small way, maybe E.T., but that's not really the same genre of alien movie. Well, that's our thoughts on The Vast of Night. Again, this is something you can find streaming on Amazon. After that, we're going to segue into Icebreaker Audio, and this week it's my turn to ask the question. And basically, what this section is, we're going to go through a quote unquote get to know you kind of thing where you encounter this if you went into a new school, perhaps a new job, kind of the popcorn reading, if you will. You go around in a circle, you all answer the same question, and this is to help you guys know us more as individuals, as human beings, and not disembodied voices in your ears. And this week, we're going to piggyback off last week's question a little bit. Last week, we wanted to know what we were reading. This week, I'm going to ask Duncan, if you were a character in any of the novels that you've read, what kind of story do you think would fit your personality? Like, would you see yourself in a murder mystery? Would you see yourself in a Western or something like that?
Let's see. I mean, obviously, the easy answer is put me in some sort of scuba novel. Ooh, do you know who Clive Cussler is?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the guy who did what's the guy's freaking name? There's a questionable movie adaptation with Matthew McConaughey.
Sahara. It's about Dirk Pitt.
Yes, Dirk Pitt. I knew it was like Dirk something, but I couldn't remember his last name. Yes,
I would be in that universe either as Dirk Pitt or as someone else who has that kind of job. I think.
I could see it. I could see it. Absolutely. You think you would have Freddy as well?
Oh, of course, he's the in my it's the Dirk and his dog's adventures, where every once in a while, instead of me saving the day, or if I'm stuck in some sort of evil plot from someone, Freddy rescues me, either on purpose or not.
Sure, sure.
What about you, Hayden?
I quite like some horror movies and horror books, although I don't read that genre as much as I'd like. I feel like I would be comedic relief that gets killed off early in the story. Like I think I would be in like a suspense novel where I am like the cold opening you'd see in like a supernatural episode, right? I think I would fit into that genre, or
Okay.
or I would be in one of my Conan books. I have a stack of them behind me on the desk. I would definitely be a great like medieval fantasy barkeep. I feel like I would, be pouring big old steins of mead and beer and serving lamb legs to people who going out on quests. I would absolutely do that.
That does sound fairly up your alley.
Or I'd just take the easy answer and I'd say I'd go into The Hobbit. But I feel like we've already done that kind of question a couple episodes ago. So
Well, that's what I guess that's what either book or movie or whatever we would inhabit. Like, obviously, the more we do these questions, I feel like some of them are going to blend together because I feel like we have answered this semi before, but
well,
I don't know.
we've answered the question of what movie would we be in. This one is similar, but it's just book specific.
Hmm.
I didn't really think that through.
That's fine. I mean, they might have been slightly different answers. I don't know.
Sure. Well, we're going to segue into our third and possibly final section here where we talk about the things we've watched in our own separate time or things we're looking forward to or just generalized things like that. Duncan, seeing as how you literally work at a movie theater, what have you watched recently? Although to be fair, you've been out of state doing some social life stuff, so you may have not had the time.
Well, I watched a movie on the plane called Havoc. This is a 2025. This is Tom Hardy, and the director is named Gareth Evans. He did The Raid and The Raid 2.
Oh, those are great.
And this was like for what it was. This is a pretty classic like airplane watch movie.
That's cool.
A pretty fun action scene, like him in the like underbelly of a city's like crime as a sort of corrupt cop. No, it
Oh,
was
I think I
fun.
sent you a trailer for this. We both had the thought of,
Maybe.
oh, okay, it looks okay, but it's Tom Hardy, so why not?
Well, so he did this, but he also has a show I think on Paramount called Mobland with Pierce Brosnan,
Yeah,
where
it's
it's very
produced by
similar.
Guy Ritchie, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. I would not. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to ever watch it again. But it was like, oh, it's a very solid 3.5 out of 5.
That's fair.
Uh, I rewatched Pride and Prejudice, which you were there for,
That's true. I was still
and
good.
that is kind of it. I haven't watched a whole lot. I've been busy.
That's
Either I
fair. That's
was
fair.
out of town or out of state, one or the other. So, what have you watched, Hayden?
Well, I also haven't watched that much. I think I've also only watched two things, three if you want to count Pride and Prejudice with you. So I watched Empire Strikes Back just because we were talking about it recently. It's been Star Wars holiday fairly recently as of the time of this recording. Not much to say about it other than what I've already said in that episode. And if you would like to hear that episode, you can find it on all the streaming platforms we mentioned at the start. Um, it's also a good one. We cover the entire franchise briefly, so I'm not going to go on about that. And then I also rewatched Zootopia off Disney Plus. I'm aware that movie has its own reputation and that it's gotten the this is the questionable furry movie, and I fully understand why it has that. But I think it's very good. Really enjoyed that just because it's beautifully animated. Music is bumping, and yeah, I mean it's just I think it's a as far as a we're going to explain like racial biases in policing and that kind of a topic to kids through an animated movie, it's actually pretty good.
Okay. I've
Yeah,
never seen it, and I mean, granted, I'm sure maybe if I saw it, I'd feel differently, but I'm not like chomping at the bit to see it. I don't know.
I
I feel
mean,
like it just went past me at a weird time or something.
I mean that's fair. I really like animation, so I remember watching it in theaters with some friends. But like, if the subject matter isn't interesting to you, you may not get a whole lot out of it. But I really enjoy it. But yeah, those are the only two and a half, three if you count Pride and Prejudice that I've watched.
And what are you looking forward to watching?
Well, I don't think there's anything new trailer wise out. I think we've already talked about Weapons and Thunderbolts.
I'm quickly
Um,
looking at
yeah, I'm not
Letterbox's
sure if there's
Instagram.
anything new that I've seen trailers for. Because I mean, pretty much I'd like to see both of those, but I don't remember what else new has come out.
So there's a trailer for Ethan Cohen's next film
Oh
called
yeah,
Honey Don't
it kind
with
of just looks
Chris
like
Evans.
Driveway Dolls.
I think it looks better. The concept is a lot more interesting. Like I saw Drive Away Dolls, and this looks a lot better than all of that combined. So
I've heard absolutely nothing good about Driveway Dolls. Like
It's pretty
seen
bad.
several like quick reviews about it online, and all of them were like, "Wow, this sucked." So I mean, if it's better, that's good.
Yeah, but I think otherwise we more or less have covered everything, either Sinners and or
Oh yeah, your theater's running that now. Have you gotten to watch it yet?
no, I've seen bits and pieces when I've like set it up and delivered cocktails and stuff, but I haven't
Fair.
gotten to. But I mean, again, it looks really good from what I've seen, so looking forward to that.
Well, this might be our shortest episode we've had in literally 6 months, but
Fuck
I
it, who
think
cares,
we've
dude?
well, okay. I think we've covered all we need to cover. If you've enjoyed this episode, remember to hit the like button, hit the follow and or subscribe button, so you can tune in next week. And on that note, Duncan, what are we watching next week?
We are watching. It is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, mainly starring Sean Connery in one of his last feature film roles.
2006, yeah.
So right before the MCU, but post like Pirates of the Caribbean and all that other stuff. So it's kind of in a weird spot, but um, it's a fun one. It is
It's not a
definitely
good movie, but
dated,
it definitely has like
but yeah,
its own
yeah.
cult following, if you will.
I enjoy watching it, but I wouldn't rate it highly in my like. We'll talk about it, but that's what we're watching.
Sure.
I don't know where it's available, but I'm sure you can rent it somewhere. We're just gonna use a hard copy we have access to, but otherwise, listen to that this coming episode, and that was
46.
yep. We'll see everyone, or talk to everyone, or talk at everyone next week.